Some people are saying that this may have been the best slam dunk competition ever.
Who won it?
Zach LaVine,
Never heard of.
point guard with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Very talented young baller. He's in his second year.
Who else was in it?
He went head to head with Aaron Gordon from the
No, never heard of
Orlando Magic. They're both very young players.
Okay.
But it's worth watching.
Okay.
Let me just put it that way.
That was BS. You know, that, come on, man. That kid went airborne over the mascot's head into a seating position, threw his legs left-handed, and slammed the ball. That was, man, Twitter damn near broke. Zach,
You know what?
I love you, but that old school Jordan dunk, yes, it was pretty.
Yeah.
Yes, it was from the line, but that was, my boy was robbed. My
Yeah.
boy was robbed.
And we have a little bit of extra time at the end of the show. I want to show that dunk
All right,
that,
we'll do that. We'll do
Unknown just talked about. But hey, we start off every episode of Not Without Alonzo and Issues of the Hood talking about current events.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton has been getting a little bit of flack. He's on the campaign trail.
With Hillary?
Campaigning for Hillary. And he said something in the media yesterday at a rally he's been getting a little bit of criticism for. I got a short clip on it. I want to play it and get your reaction to it. But hold on. We also want to get our viewers' reactions too, right?
Yeah.
And we got a number. People can call in and join the conversation.
Join the conversation
If
right
you
from your
got something
house.
on your mind that you want to talk about, you can bring it, to the table. And people always make suggestions for the show, like, hey, we've been hearing from women, we need to deal with more relationship issues. So we take the feedback seriously. And
That's
we
the issue in the hood.
Yeah, we encourage people to participate.
All
But
right.
the number, you know it offhand?
323-920-4896.
Yes, sir. 323-920-4896. Feel free to call in.
We
if
are
you
here,
wanna
y'all. We
join the
live. We
discussion.
LIVE.
Yeah, but let's start off with I want to show this Bill Clinton clip if I can.
Make a funny comment about is Steve Cohen's remark that I was just a stand-in for the first black president. I'm happy to do that, but you know what else we learned from the human genome? We learned that unless your ancestors, every one of you, are 100% from sub-Saharan Africa, we are all mixed-race people.
Okay, that's the clip. Look, let me say this. What Bill Clinton just said, he's been getting criticized for it. Let me explain to it, add a little additional context to it.
Sure.
He was talking about DNA and the Human Genome Project. I think it was starting back in the 1990s. It may have been a variety of, I'm sure it was a variety of universities involved. And I think the National Geographic Organization got involved. But you had a group of geneticists that basically traveled around the world and started taking blood samples from human populations in every country and every corner of the world. And what they did was they basically analyzed the DNA from those blood samples, and they created genetic maps and trees to see how everyone's related.
Okay.
So the work has been done. It's nothing new. The basic conclusion is that all modern humans come from Africa, and all humans alive today on the planet Earth come from humans that originated in Africa and nowhere else.
Do you know how many white folks going to be killing themselves behind that? Boy, you finna start a mass murder.
You know what? And that's why it's so important that Bill Clinton actually just spoke to that. That's exactly what he was talking about and nothing else. But because he said the Genome Project, he didn't say DNA specifically. Some people may miss what he was actually talking about. But what he was talking about is the fact that all humans come from sub-Saharan Africa. And the reality is, originally, all humans were black. And he didn't go that far with it, but this man is catching flack for saying, unless all your ancestors come from sub-Saharan Africa, then we're all mixed. And that's the reality. We are all mixed. Black Americans are mixed. Europeans mixed, Asians, et cetera, et cetera.
His ass look like Casper the Friendly Ghost. You talking about he got some black in him. He don't have no melanin in his body whatsoever. He look like he almost like albino.
Well, that gets into another interesting topic. We might have to save it for another day.
We'll do
but
that.
there may be a connection between,
All right, I give you that. I give you
Okay,
that.
yeah.
I give you that.
anyways.
You know what? Now, today I was on the way to the show, and I'm listening to the news. And sometimes, folks, I hate to tell you this, but your boy is kind of a political junkie from time to time. I'm listening to KFI. I ain't listening to hip hop. I ain't listening to Big Boy. Nobody like that. I like Steve Harvey in the morning, but in the afternoon, I listen to them white folks. I like what they're talking about. Okay? There's a big scandal, as some of y'all know, that the sheriff department, the FBI actually, put in an undercover agent in the sheriff department.
In the county jail.
In the county jail.
As an inmate?
As an inmate.
Okay.
To inform them of what's going on. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The sheriff, Baca, at the time, got wind of what was going on. They changed the guy's number and buried him in the tombs. Okay. Couldn't find him. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then they allegedly sent two sheriff's deputies to the FBI agent's house in charge of the investigation and tried to intimidate her.
Ooh.
Okay.
Witness tampering.
Witness tampering. It sounds like something we're talking about today, ain't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we talked about witness tampering on a previous show, but yeah.
And I was talking to my boy Unknown, and I said, you know something? It seems to me that if there is a gang enhancement against gangbangers, there should be a criminal enhancement against any elected official that betrays the trust of the public. It should be an enhancement for any crimes they commit instead of cutting them a deal, because he pled guilty to one case of lying to the FBI, which could get him 6 months, which probably end up being 90 days suspended sentence or a house arrest or something like that. And I'm saying, you know what? That we are in a country that folks can lie, they can poison the water, they can do anything they want to, and because they are elected officials, they have no real repercussions, that consequences they have to suffer. They may have to write a check, they may have to retire with all their benefits, okay? And that may be the extent of their punishment.
Right.
I'm thinking, if you are
unless you're a black elected
unless you're a black elected official,
because if you look at what
you
happened
finna
to
get
Jesse
stretched.
Jackson Jr.,
You
to
finna get
Kwame
stretched,
Kilpatrick,
okay?
and a lot of the local
You about to get
politicians, yeah, it's a whole different
okay?
ballgame.
If you're a black elected official, you're about to get stretched. The white one, they can slap on the wrist, give them a fine, and they cut a deal and go back home to their folks in a matter of weeks. Okay, I just think there need to be a fraudulent enhancement for anybody that's elected official that betrays the trust of the public and does anything to that nature that causes problems in the lives to the public. You know, especially when you're dealing with the Feds. If I got to tell the Feds why you get to not only lie to them, but try to intimidate them. Come on, man. Yeah. What's the topic of the show, man? I'm gonna get me upset.
Our connecting the dots segment is gonna be hate crimes. Hey, I was doing some research and getting prepared for the show. When we originally came up with this as a topic, you and I, what we originally had in mind was, this rampant and pervasive epidemic of police shooting of unarmed black men. And the question that we were asking ourselves is, why aren't those officers being charged with hate crimes, particularly in cases where it's pretty apparent or it seems to be that the motivation behind the shooting was a racial motivation.
Okay.
Like, that sounds like a hate crime. But hate crime actually embodies a great number of different types of crimes against a great variety of groups of people. We're going to get into that. We probably should do a commercial break in a minute, and then we can, get into the hate crime issue.
Before we go to commercial.
Sure.
I got a question for you.
All right.
If they say some of the reasons that black folks kill black folks, right, is because of self-hatred, could that be considered a hate crime?
I think
gang banging could be considered a hate crime.
It is a hate crime.
Think about it, folks. Think about it. Think about it.
Yeah.
We're going to a break. I know, take us to a break. We're going to be back in 30 seconds, folks. Be right back. N.W.A. Alonzo every Tuesday, right here with Lonzo and Dakar, the hip-hop attorney, folks. Be right back. Want somebody to rep you in a new jack hip-hop way? Call my man Dakar over. He'll tighten his braids up, put on his lokes, and slap the judge and the bailiff.
One of these days, ultimately, there's a lot of young judges. Eventually, they're going to see this show.
Judges
sure,
coming to court with their hair braided.
Hey, that day is coming.
Watch.
Hey, but check it out. Okay, so we always do a different legal topic every week on the Not Without Alonzo show. This week, we're doing hate crimes. What is a hate crime? I want to give just a basic definition so we can put the discussion in context. When we talk about hate crimes in a legal sense, we're basically talking about harming, threatening, or harassing someone because of the person's disability, gender, nationality or race, or ethnicity, religion, or sexual orientation. So when I was doing research, getting prepared for this show, and I started Googling hate crimes, believe it or not, most of the hits that I was getting were hate crimes that were actually committed against gay and transgender people, because you have a lot of those that have made it to the news. A lot of other crimes that have made it to the news that I believe should be classified as hate crimes do not come up when you do a Google search for hate crimes.
Like what?
And in particular, that's the police shootings of unarmed black men throughout the country. That epidemic. So when you search hate crimes, you don't get any of those news stories. And one of the questions that you and I were asking when we came up with this topic is, why aren't those police shootings of unarmed black men being prosecuted as a hate crime?
Well, first of all, they have to be half of them don't get prosecuted.
Most of them don't.
Most of them don't get prosecuted. That's one reason why. And if they have to be prosecuting them first, I think there's something that we as American citizens may have to push for, because if you don't say it, they ain't gonna volunteer it.
Right.
And if you can't get them to even get a grand jury indictment, how do you get the hate crime enhancement?
Right. I don't, just me personally, this whole grand jury indictment thing, putting the case in the hands of the grand jury, which we don't know who they are. We don't know how they got selected, but letting this unknown group of people decide whether or not a criminal prosecution will move forward. If I gathered 15 of my friends and said, you're going to be the grand jury, and I'm the Attorney General of the United States, so I'm Eric Holder, and I say, you know what, before we prosecute any crime, I want you guys to hear the evidence that we gathered, and you make a decision whether or not we go forward. And all my friends are my age group, and we grew up together. We all listen to hip-hop and do the stereotypical stuff that young black men do. We play basketball and
dominoes
and all that stuff. And how are they going to vote in those cases when it comes to prosecuting, different crimes? There's going to be a bias there. Well, that's the point I'm making. So
the grand jury is nothing but a glorified version of a regular jury to a certain degree, because most times you go in front of a jury, ain't nobody in that jury look like you.
Right. And what I would suggest is that the grand jury, there's nobody, or very rarely is there ever going to be anybody on there representing our interests. You know what I mean? It's like when the prosecutor comes back and says, well, the grand jury declined to, or,
prosecute.
Exactly. It's like, well, who's on that grand jury? You know what I mean? It's like, those people need to be held accountable. And
when you start putting grand and supreme on various titles,
it draws images of the Ku Klux Klan in my mind.
That's a very good analogy. Okay?
It does. When they start talking about grand jury, grand jury, like
Supreme
David Duke on there, like who
you start putting titles like that, you give people a lot more power than they may be entitled to. Again, we in a situation now that corruption is almost basic business. This is business as usual. Corruption is acceptable, and if you get caught, you pay a fine. If if you're not of color, if you're of color, you go sit your ass in jail for 20 years. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
let's go ahead.
Okay, one of the real life case examples of a hate crime, because we've shown throughout the course of recording the Not Without Alonzo show, we have shown several videos of police shootings of black men that have been released from Chicago, New York, in other parts of the country. But there was a story that was real hot in the news, and this is a different type of hate crime. Uh, Around the time I came out of law school, the case later went to trial, I think around in the year 2009. Let me give you the basic facts of this case, and you tell me your opinion. You had, and this is in the state of Colorado, you had, you're familiar with online dating.
Yeah.
You had a guy that met a woman online dating, and they started spending time together. At some point, she eventually came to his house, stayed the night. They had some sexual contact that night, even though exactly what was done between them never was actually reported in the media. I'm sure it came out during the trial. But, she ended up staying the night at his house.
Okay.
They wake up in the morning. She decides she's going to go to the market down the street. She left the apartment and left her purse behind and only took her pocketbook.
Okay.
And the guy who lived at the apartment, the guy she was dating, stayed behind. And, she left her purse there. What is the typical guy going to do in a situation like
Typical
that?
asshole. He's gonna go through the purse.
He going to ramble through it, you know what I mean? I think most women would do that, and a lot of guys would do it too. I wouldn't do it personally.
I wouldn't either, but
yeah,
some
but he did
assholes
it.
would.
So he goes through her purse and finds an ID, a state ID, issued by the DMV of her as a man.
Oh.
So
Oh.
when she comes back to the apartment a few minutes later, he confronted her about her gender identity, and it boiled over into a heated argument. Long story short, he ended up beating this person to death with a fire extinguisher from his kitchen, right there in his apartment.
Wow.
So he ended up being charged, and of course you had the gay, lesbian, transgender community out protesting and raising hell, and they put pressure on the district attorney's office over there to charge this guy with a hate crime, and he went to trial and got convicted.
So you fool me into having sex with you, knowing you're not who you're supposed to be.
You misrepresented your gender.
I get upset. You
And-
can't kill him,
and
that's for
lose it.
sure.
Okay, wait. Murder, yes. Hate crime, I don't know about that, because you in this age of personal responsibility, what personal responsibility does this person take for lying about their sexuality, not coming clean? If you want to go, if you want to get out there and not come straight up like, hey dude, hey, I'm dressed like this, but if you get down like that, this is what I am. You take that chance when you bring people in. So murder, yeah, you can't just murder somebody because they tricked you.
No, you can't do that.
But hate crime, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's some personal responsibility there.
The LGBT is a very powerful lobby. Okay,
Then they ought to tell people that they transgender before they go.
There you go.
Go on dates.
That's true too.
And I think the law should actually require that, because, when I was thinking about this case back when it was actually going on, I was thinking about how would I defend this guy if I were to represent him.
How would you defend this guy?
I would actually allege that this guy was, first of all, that he was actually raped by the transgender person. And why do I say that? Okay. When you misrepresent your gender to somebody and trick somebody into having sex with you, I think that's rape. Because in heterosexual context, between a man and a woman, if you trick somebody, it depends on the degree of tricking. Now, if I were to lie to a woman and say, hey, I won the lottery yesterday, you didn't hear about me on the news? And she comes home with me from the club and has sex, that doesn't quite rise to the level. But hold on, here's a case where tricking somebody does amount to rape. Say if I had a twin brother and he had a girlfriend that he was living with, and I go to the house knowing that he's not there and I pretend to be him, and I have sex with her, and she only has sex with me because she thinks that I'm him. So I didn't trick her into having sex with me. That is literally rape. That's something that I could be criminally prosecuted
Right,
for,
okay.
because I misrepresented who I was. So if you misrepresent your gender to somebody, I see that as an equivalent form of rape. You cannot trick somebody You can't use that level of deception to trick somebody into having sex. Lying about your age or your status or something like that, that's, relatively minimal in the grand scheme of things. But first of all, so I see this guy as a rape victim. As a rape victim, he reacted violently to being raped.
What if you are a young man and the woman is actually older? You have a thing against older women, and she tells you she's 30, she actually 60. I mean, people can, some people have been blessed with that ageless beauty.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could be a cougar and still
cougar and still look like a cub. Okay.
You can't kill the old lady because
I'm just saying, is that rape? And based on his analogy, is that rape? She lied and said, "Hey, I'm 30 years old. No, I'm actually 50 or 60."
I would say this: tricking somebody based on your age, your standing in society, your wealth, what you've accomplished in life. That type of misrepresentation, to me, doesn't amount to rape. But when you misrepresent your identity and you make the person believe you're one person and you're not that person, so they think that I'm John Jones, but I'm really James Jones, the twin brother. That's rape.
That's rape.
Okay, and then also if you think that you're about to have sex with a woman, and that person has tricked you, is really a man, but they have tricked you into believing they're a woman.
Wait.
That gotta be rape.
Let me ask you a question now. We just playing a little devil's advocate here. Okay, if you had the complete operation, you were transgender. You look down there, you grabbed, you didn't feel nothing what you had. Okay, okay, it's smooth. Everything is gone. Okay. Are you still saying that's rape now? Come on now. Wait. It'd be a different thing if what happened to my boy, happened to him, because he met a girl that was very aggressive in the club, and they got together, had a few drinks, went home, and decided to hook up.
And by his boy, he means himself, Dakar.
Yeah, right. There you bullshit. He go hang out and they hitting it from the back. All of a sudden,
wow.
They start hitting it good. All of a sudden, his genitals started hitting his genitals. hey, what the hell is this? Okay. And I asked him, I said, "Man, what did you do?" He said, "I went on and finished." I said, "What?" Anyway, now that right there is, a cold-blooded case of deception, okay?
Yeah.
Now, if you had spent the money, got the boobs, had everything removed, and you are living as a woman, okay, by all rights and by all, I prefer not to, but, okay?
You know what? To answer your question, and you're asking for my opinion here.
I'm just asking what's your opinion.
I think I believe I would classify that as rape, and I agree with the point Unknown made, which is I think the law should require you to reveal your true sexual orientation to a person before having sex with that person. That's just the bottom line. And when I say your true sexual orientation, I mean what you were born as.
Did you ever see? I think it was Jerry Springer back in the day. They had Miss Filipino something another. Man, it was hard as heck to figure out what was what. Okay, It was hard as heck. Okay, I understand what you're saying, but I understand what I'm saying. It's it can be confusing.
All right, wait. I got a question. If the person that got domed was Caitlyn Jenner, would we all be sad? Would it have been wrong for Caitlyn to show up at this guy's pad
and be beaten to death?
And okay,
if homeboy,
as far as the world and South Park is concerned, Caitlyn Jenner is a hero and a courageous woman. Right? That's the politically correct thing to say. Now, but if it was Caitlyn, would the world be like, "Oh my God"? Murder's still murder. But
if you slept with Caitlyn Jenner, you got issues I can't help you with. Okay, man or woman, that's an ugly creature. I'm sorry. Hey, I don't see all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's one.
She may hold on. She may be bold for making her statement. Okay, but the plumbing ain't right. Okay, the face ain't right. She still got Bruce Jenner features. If you can't see that that's a man, you don't want to see that's a man. You got some different preferences. That hey, that's on you.
Hey,
Right.
you hear what
I
Manny
agree.
Pacquiao said?
Yeah,
Man, he had to back.
he had to backtrack quick.
What did he say? I think I missed that one.
He said that you don't see animals having sex with animals, and men
of the
shouldn't
same sex, which is actually not
Right,
true.
right.
Monkeys do that all the time.
Monkey gets a monkey ass in a minute. Okay, monkey bump another monkey in a minute. I've seen it happen at the zoo. You're like, hey, what happened? Anyway,
And at the club.
anyway, folks, this is Not Without A.lonzo, the show named after the book about the history of West Coast hip hop. We do it every Tuesday. Me and my boy, Dakar, the old, the hip hop attorney. I'm Lonzo, the world class grandmaster. Our phone lines are open 323-290-4896.
Yes,
Give us a
sir.
call. If you got a subject you want to chime in on this conversation, feel free. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, folks. Now, Dakar says that and I got to agree with him. You would be upset. You would be upset. Okay, I know I would be upset. Did what? Okay, but would you want to kill the man? No, I might call the police on him.
Yeah, I think that's the right thing.
I
to
think,
do.
hey, look, man, this cat, the cops gonna probably laugh at you. Okay, cops gonna laugh. They gonna laugh at you. Okay, he did what? Okay, it's gonna be hard. That's like calling the police on your woman after she done whipped your butt. Okay,
Oh,
she
yeah.
whipped your butt. Now you gonna press charges. Okay,
Yeah,
they gonna laugh you all the way to the jailhouse. But
Yeah.
that would be the proper next move as opposed to killing, because now you done messed yours off.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And then you think about how that would play out if you call the police. It is true that as a victim of a crime, particularly of a sex crime, you'll remain anonymous to a certain point. But there may be a time where you may get subpoenaed to come to court and testify. And there aren't a lot of people that I think will be willing to do that. As a man, if you were tricked by another man into having sex with that man, how likely are you to come to court and testify against that person if you were
homeboy
subpoenaed to testify?
if home squeeze, whatever you want to call it, was extremely convincing, okay? Extremely, I mean, like, walk in the courtroom like, damn, that's a dude. Okay.
You know he ain't gonna walk in the courtroom. He coming
he-
in there with a 3-day beard.
Right.
It might be possible to go to court and say, hey, okay. And even then, would you, if it came in that convincing, would that be? It all depends on the people on the jury, because
Yeah.
you might get somebody, hey, I'm kind of fine. I understand. I ain't mad at it. Okay, so actually go either way, man. Now you don't want to go to court on that one right there.
You
Yeah,
know
yeah.
what? That's what. Yeah, but the car. You know, you make music all your life. You pioneer the West Coast hip hop industry. You launched the careers of Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, everything. Do they call you? Do they call you Lonzo, the Grand Master of the West
trying to
Coast?
set me
No,
up.
they call you Lonzo, the guy that slept with the guy. If you make that, if
Right.
that was to happen,
Right. That's what you will be known for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So you
I
don't
agree.
go to court for that.
Yeah,
You don't
I
go-
agree
yeah,
with you.
you'll
And see, and that's part of the problem. And and we're joking. It's funny in that sense, but most men aren't going to call the police in that context, even though that's the right thing to do. Because if you basically feel like you just got raped by another man, the last thing you want to do is let other people know about it.
Does
You're
it
not going to
depend on-
post it on your Facebook.
you
You're not going to start tweeting about it.
You be curled up in the corner. Oh my God.
You know what I mean? It's the type of thing you don't want anybody to ever find out about. That's
Does it
just the bottom
depend on
line.
who's pitching and who's catching, though?
Either way.
He better be.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah,
Either
right,
way. I mean, man. God forbid. I hope it never happens to me or anybody I know. But if somebody get caught in that situation, I would probably advise them not to tell anybody. Like, hey, just take that as a lost dog. Don't call the police.
This is wrong, man. This is, oh boy, you go get hate mail. You go get hate mail because there's gay people. Y'all know gay is like the new black right now.
Yeah,
It's a fashion statement, and people are going. You go get.
Well, actually, they should commend me for that position. I'm saying don't even call the police on the person. Just let it go.
Hey,
You know,
sorry.
I mean, I wouldn't. That would be tough.
But would you look up and you hanging with me, an unknown, at Fridays or something, and he walk up, hi, Dakar.
You know,
hi, Dakar.
yeah. When I talk about the news stories, I hate to talk about them in a vague way. The guy that actually went on trial in Colorado, his name is N.W.A. So he's Latino, and the guy that posed as a woman was a Latin female. I got a short clip that shows when they read his verdict. They were in Greeley, Colorado. Unknown, we got time for a 1-minute clip before the break?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, let's check this one out. See how this
With
case
your
ended.
attorneys. And dispensing with the caption, the verdict reads, with regard to count number 1, with regard to first-degree murder, we, the jury, find the defendant, N.W.A, guilty of first-degree murder. The heat of passion interrogatory is correctly not filled out based on the verdict. With regard to count number 2, bias-motivated crime, dispensing with the caption, the verdict reads as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant, N.W.A, guilty of bias-motivated crime. With regard to count number 3, dispensing with the caption, the verdict reads as follows. With regard to aggravated motor vehicle theft in the first degree, we, the jury, find the defendant, N.W.A, guilty of aggravated motor vehicle theft in the first degree. And with regard to count number 4, dispensing with the caption regarding identity theft, we, the jury, find the defendant, N.W.A, guilty of identity theft.
Okay, so the guy, this is that Colorado case. He met the young woman online, what he thought was a woman, turned out to be a man, and beat this person to death with a fire extinguisher. He got convicted of first-degree murder. I think his case is being appealed. I think that conviction should definitely be overturned.
Manslaughter?
At worst case, right, there you go. You're probably looking at, because this is, first of all, it's heat of passion.
Crime of passion, right?
Yeah, it's a crime of passion. So at the most, you're looking at like a second-degree murder. That's what crime of passion is. But to me, I think it should be even less than that. I say,
Involuntary manslaughter?
yeah, I say either manslaughter or involuntary or voluntary, one or the other. You know what I mean? This guy deserves to be punished for it, but first-degree murder and somebody trick you into having sex with him, really? I disagree with that.
But it looks like a cholo, okay? Which means it's a lot of machoism, man. That's a lot of machismo, dude. It's a lot of machismo. I know. That's like, certain gangbangers, hey, man, that certain gangbangers will take it to another level because their manhood they feel violated, okay? Dude, hey, man, you don't know what they did behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you was a girl when you did that. You was a dude doing that. It ain't cool, okay?
Yeah. You remind me of something. I think about how much the world has changed since the time we were growing up as kids. Remember, it was common in black communities and probably most communities, you can insult somebody by calling them a fag or a sissy. Those words are like, are considered, slurs nowadays, And because obviously it's getting to the...
And what's crazy is they're slurs to some people, but we take our slurs and turn them into terms of endearment. Imagine that.
Have you heard gay people calling each other fag and sissy? I think they do that jokingly.
They do it.
Just like blacks using the N-word.
Right. But
I think every group of people have words that they use within their group that are okay for them to use, but not okay for people on the outside.
Okay, fine. And being the case, I haven't heard very many gay songs, but I haven't heard my gay, my faggot, my faggot, my faggot. Never heard that. Okay, never heard that song. Right, yeah. Okay,
it might be coming.
I don't know, man. They're gonna shut that down. They're gonna shut that down. That ain't gonna fly. Okay, it may be. And I said this 1,000 times. I said it again. What we do behind closed doors is our business. When they take it to the street, certain things that when you talk to certain people about certain issues, you can talk to them about certain things, okay? But when you take it to the streets, it becomes elevated and more. Once it becomes public, Now people start getting upset because, hey man, I was our private situation. Okay, if we want to do that behind closed doors, if that guy, if that's saying, if that's, I ain't gonna, I'm leave that alone.
Hey man,
Yeah.
let me throw this out here.
Go ahead.
One, it's in the middle of our show, but if you guys can DVR it or something like that, there's a PBS special on tonight. I want to say 9 o'clock Eastern and 6 o'clock Pacific, which means it's about halfway done now. It's about the 50th anniversary of the Black Panthers, and also to your point, I think it's in kind of like it crosses that point. It's what you said. You don't hear gay people walking down the street screaming at each other endearingly, "Hey, faggot," right? Hey, faggot, what's up, my faggot, my faggot? You don't hear that, but isn't it interesting that you hear black people screaming out, "Hey, my nigga, hey, nigga, hey, nigga, hey, that's my nigga," isn't it? You know, when I know this debate goes on a lot, but like you said, I don't see gay people 40 years from now embracing the word faggot as a term of endearment. I don't see that.
Well, you know what? I
I
agree with you. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't I don't have any gay friends per se. I do know.
Not that you know of.
Yeah, that's true. I do have gay family members though, and also have gay colleagues, acquaintances from school and places that I work. But and I also have friends that have gay friends.
Okay.
And I do know for a fact that gay people do, amongst themselves,
Right.
will joke around and call each other fag and sissy. But you're right, they're not out in public saying it.
Right.
To where now it becomes acceptable
Right.
for everybody else to say it, and then it puts you in a position like black people we find ourselves in. Well, where a non-black person saying, "Why can't I say it? Black people say it all the time."
Right.
So
So hey man, take our last break for the evening, y'all. Unknown, we got to give him some time.
Yeah. You know what? Before we go out, let me show another little clip right quick. We were talking about slam dunk contest, or maybe we can save it for the next time.
Go ahead.
You want to air it now, or you want to?
Let's do it.
You're going to air it now?
Yeah, we can do it now, and then
Okay, let's
and then
see
we'll
it.
take our break right after this. This is the one you were talking about, right?
This is sick.
It is, but it's not the best one. Hold on. Look at that, man. The dude's head is above the rim.
Not the best one, though. This is it, I think.
Oh, this is the one.
This is the one. Get the hell out of here, man. Come on. In a seated position. Get out of here, man. This kid, hands down. Come on, man.
But this is my favorite, though. Look how he picks it up with one hand. Cuff it. Watching the guy that won runner-up. This is the second place winner.
Wow. Those some hot dunks, folks. We're going to take a hot break. We'll be back in about 30 seconds, y'all. You're live with Lonzo, the hip-hop attorney. Not without Alonzo. It's Tuesday, baby. Be right back. Hey, folks, we are back. This is Lonzo. You're live with Lonzo and Dakar, the hip-hop attorney.
Yes, sir.
And the show was called Not Without A.lonzo, named after the soon-to-be best-selling book about the West Coast hip-hop. If you haven't got one yet, go to my website, LonzoWilliams.com. I will send you an autographed copy. Or you can go to Amazon or Kindle, folks. It's all the same thing. In the meantime, like I tell y'all every week, y'all, I'm a Facebook semi-junkie, okay? And for months, man, I've been seeing different memes on Facebook, and I'm like, I just save them just because I like them, okay? And I had nothing to do with them. But now that I'm doing my show right here on Lonzo Land Media Studio, I decided, you know what? I'm going to take some of these memes and take the top 10 and make Lonzo's timeline top 10. Kind of like the Bill Maher New Rules. I love Bill Maher.
Yeah,
so
great
anyway,
show,
folks,
great show.
we're about to go do Lonzo's timeline top 10 right here. Here we go, folks. Now, first of all, my heart is broken. My girl Denise Matthews, a.k.a. Vanity, passed yesterday.
Oh, yes.
And I think
Beautiful woman. Supremely talented.
I met Vanity at K-Day. One day, I told the story on Facebook. I'm going to tell it to y'all right quick. I'm walking past this limo in K-Day and going into K-Day, and the window rolled down, and this angelic voice says, "Hey, sir, could you give me for a minute?" And I said, "Okay." I turned around, and it was Vanity.
Wow.
Oh, damn, man, Vanity. Okay. And she was so fine, it threw me back. Like, damn.
How long ago was this?
Oh, man, this is in the 80s. She was in her heyday.
Okay.
And I looked, and when she said, "Can I come there?" My mind immediately go, "Papa da bow bow." Maybe she want me to climb in the back of the limo and do it on the limousine floor. I don't know, okay? But my mind went one way, my ears heard one thing, but my pants heard something else. Okay, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "Can I help you?" She says, "Yes. Could you do me a small favor?" And I'm like, "Okay. Could you tell the limo driver to bring me out a tissue?" Now again, my ears heard exactly what she said, but my pants heard something else. She looked down at my pants and started smiling, and I felt so stupid. I said, "Okay, I'll be right back." And I went to her and told homeboy what was happening. Yeah, yesterday she passed, and again, she's a beautiful woman. She's an icon of the '80s, folks. Princess, first lady of the Purple Kingdom, folks.
She looked at you and said, "This ain't Lake Minnetonka."
If you saw Kendrick Lamar last night on the Grammy Awards, had one of the hottest shows on the Grammys I've ever seen. Literally, there was fire everywhere, okay? Hopefully this trend of powerful conscious performance will continue. Beyonce threw down the Super Bowl. Kendrick came out in chains. I mean, it was cold. It was like a prison scene. And I'm not really into that type of thing. But when you understand the symbolism that he was portraying in the song, oh, man. Hopefully this will change, improve the consciousness of these young artists. I went to Kendrick's ceremony on Saturday to get the key to the city of Compton. And they asked me, what do I think about this? I said, you know what? This is one of the best things kids of Compton can see. They can see some positivity, and they can see what could happen if you keep your mind on a bigger prize and stop trying to be a hood celebrity and do something that the world could embrace. Okay? If the universe is your hood, the world could be your set. Okay, that's some Lonzo-isms right there. And I thought about all the money that so many artists out of Compton have made. The city of Compton can't embrace them the same way because of their negative roots. I know a lot of Compton artists do a lot of good things, but it's real hard to acknowledge them in the way that they acknowledge Kendrick Lamar. You got state officials, you got county officials, you got TV out there, the whole 9 yards. You got a lot of innocent impressionable minds here that you got to see the right imagery, and Kendrick Lamar does just that. Slavery then, slavery now. I mean, that's something I thought stood out, and when you see the images like this right here, you got brothers on chain gangs in 2016.
Yeah.
you know something is wrong.
Let me comment right quick while you got that
Go
one
ahead.
out. I was at a sentencing hearing a couple years ago where a young man was sentenced on a very serious crime. At sentencing hearings, when the judge announces what your punishment is going to be, the judge will normally allow the victims of the family members and loved ones of the victim to address the court in open. And I remember one person that spoke during this young man's sentencing hearing, and he was accused of murder.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he got convicted of. Had said they find solace in the fact that you will spend the rest of your life as a legal slave, referring to him being in prison and being on a chain gang like this. And then you see, the guys, they quote unquote have jobs in prison, but they're getting paid like what, $1 a day or something like that.
Quarter an hour, quarter a day or something like
Yeah,
that.
I mean if it's not slavery, it's
indentured servitude for damn sure.
Then what is it?
Right.
I mean, getting paid $1 a week or whatever it is, it's like, come on. I mean, you may as well give them a penny a year.
Right. So
I mean, giving
that's
them
why
that,
we do this show. This show is here to try and shine a light on some of the crimes that hip hop seems to ignore and glorify. And that's why we're here every Tuesday, folks. I got to have an attorney on my team, so keep me out of trouble, and also bring the penalties and the code to the light, so we can hopefully keep folks from making those mistakes.
6 minutes, that'd be fresh.
Clarence Thomas mourning the death of Scalia. Oh, Boss Weed's dead. Okay. When I saw this one right here, I fell out laughing. It's a scene from Django, and this is my man Samuel L. Jackson. He has Leo DiCaprio. Oh my God, what we gonna do, boss? What we gonna do? The fear of those with knowledge. They fear those with knowledge and control those without.
Dick Gregory.
Self-speak is self-explanatory.
Oh yeah.
It's self-explanatory. This is the faces of the people in the audience last night when Kendrick Lamar was doing his show. Okay.
Wow.
This is the reaction of the white folks in the audience. They was like,
"Where's the smiles? Where's the cheering?"
Wait,
the guy. I see one face to the right. You only see part of his face.
Right.
The bottom right. He got his mouth open. But other people are frowning or you kind of got a stoic
How
look.
do you smile at black people coming out in chains in prison gear?
Well, sometimes.
Good question.
The shock of the realities is probably overwhelming to a lot of people, and that's probably why you have the expressions that they have. Like a lot of people from Hollywood don't really see this like we see it.
No,
that's why
think that's Christian Amanpour is just normal happy face.
All right, folks. The KKK is the only group that serves hate while the Black Panthers serve breakfast. Okay? Everybody hating on the Black Panthers for whatever reason. All they did, if the KKK didn't exist, the Black Panthers wouldn't have to exist. Mm-hmm. Okay?
You had a list last week of different community programs.
It was like 50 different programs.
We're going to have to, maybe Thursday on the
I'll pull it
Issues
back up.
in the Hood show. We
I'll
can kind of run through that list.
People don't realize that the Latinos had the same problem that the blacks had. So they had the brown berets along with the Black Panthers. Okay, this
Problems
is
with
not
police brutality.
Same exact problem.
Oh yeah.
Latinos were beaten, they were hung just like we were. But it's kind of for some reason, I guess with the numbers they have now, we ain't got ticked no more. Mm-hmm. Okay,
you know what the best answer to police brutality is?
What?
And you can tell me if you disagree. Is the upcoming generation becoming police officers, and the current generation.
Yeah, that's all.
And then you do right by your people.
That's right. Last night, this probably was the coldest image I saw. If you can't see it clearly, that's an image of Africa with Compton in the middle and Kendrick Lamar as the silhouette of Compton standing in front of the Africa. Thank you, Doc.
Wow. Okay.
That was a powerful image. To be at the ceremony on Saturday when half of Compton was there to see this young brother get his key to the city, This brother's been to the White House. He's
Yeah,
been to
wait.
huh?
So you were the Grammys was last night. No,
Right.
wait, Sunday night.
Sunday night.
And you were with Kendrick and Compton Saturday. Okay,
Saturday.
so
He
that
got
was
to
right
see
before he
the-
performed.
yeah, right.
Okay, but yeah, he's been to the White House. He's
A smart man can play stupid, but a stupid man can't play smart. And I know some boys. My God, if they need to read this right here, because no matter how smart you think you are, you still stupid. And that's my top 10 for the day, folks. That's Lonzo's timeline top 10. If you have a meme you want me to throw up here, some of you think that would be appropriate, shoot it to me, folks. They do it all the time. And that is my timeline top 10.
got one more issue I'd
Go
like
for
to
it,
address.
go for it,
Okay,
go
so
for it.
you've heard about it in the news. We could play a clip, but we're kind of running out of time. A Supreme Court justice died a few days ago. Justice
Yeah.
Anton Scalia, who is known to be a staunch conservative
Racist.
and a racist, a lot of people say, and
Cracker.
and all that. So Obama is going to have to appoint a new Supreme Court justice, and the question is, who should he appoint? And I've already heard in the media, I think I was watching CNN earlier, where they were saying, well, Republicans are saying they're going to oppose the nomination no matter who he nominates. So I'm thinking,
What else is new?
of course, I'm wondering, I'm trying to figure out, how do I get my resume to Obama?
If he nominated Jesus, they'd find a problem with it. Okay? If
Right.
Jesus came back to be a Supreme Court judge, they'd have a problem with it. Okay?
That's true. That's true. I think he should nominate a qualified black woman, though. We never had a black female Supreme Court justice. The only two blacks we've had on the Supreme Court, we've had Clarence Thomas, who most blacks find to be totally useless when it comes to black issues,
Oreo.
and then we had Thurgood Marshall, who kind of came and went, and he was part of the whole Brown versus Board of
Wayne thing.
Education and a lot of good stuff. But I think it's time for a qualified black woman to be appointed to the Supreme Court.
Beyonce.
I say Anita Hill.
No, the sister
Michelle Obama.
Who's the sister that's in the Supreme? I mean, state.
Oh wait, you're talking about the Attorney General
Yeah.
for the state of California. I'm gonna look her name up real quick.
she
Kamala Harris.
Kamala
Oh,
Harris.
there you go.
They mentioned this morning Kamala Harris could be a possible candidate.
Somebody mentioned Jackie Lacey, the district attorney of Los Angeles County,
No,
who's a woman.
That ain't
How
gonna
about
work.
Black
the
female.
Attorney General of the United States?
Who is that currently? It was Eric
It's a black
Holder.
woman, right?
Let me find out.
Attorney General right now.
Oh yeah, that replaced Eric Holder because he stepped down early.
Right. Ooh.
I'll find her name. But so who else?
It was a brother out of Orange County. He's a judge in Orange County, and
Okay.
another,
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw.
yeah,
it.
a brother in
A
Orange
light-skinned
County.
dude?
Light-skinned brother in Orange
Okay.
County. We need some light skin on this court. We can fool them sometimes. We can shake and move a little taste.
It don't matter. It's more about your policies and your positions.
Hey, I got something.
Loretta Lynch is the
There you
current
go. There you
Attorney
go.
General.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, all these.
And if we can go to my screen unknown, I'll show people who Loretta Lynch is. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, I know a little bit about Loretta Lynch. That's another possibility for Obama as far as a nomination, but it'll be interesting to see who he nominates.
Okay.
All right.
She looks like she could be a fair person. Okay. But boy, these folks is they dreading the hell that Obama gets a chance to nominate another Supreme Court justice.
Oh yeah,
They fought
'Cause-
Sotomayor tooth and nail.
Oh yeah.
Now
Because
they-
now you're about to have a shift in power on the
Yeah.
Supreme Court. We'll talk more about it Thursday. I know we're running out of time.
Ran out.
Ran out of time. Hey, folks, we got to go, y'all. We'll see you Thursday with Issues in the Hood. Same show, same shit, same set, same host.
New topics.
Just different topics, folks. Hey,
Okay.
they look alike. We're gonna get some banner in the back here. In the meantime, y'all, I'm Lonzo, the world class grandmaster, and you're live at the Lick Media Center, Lonzo Land Studios, and my man is Dakar, the hip hop attorney.
Yes, sir.
Check out my book, folks, LonzoWilliams.com. The book is called Not Without Alonzo. No, thank you for sitting in today, boy, making us look good.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
A-Dub still out there, the assistant to the assistant?
No, he's on a run. I'm going to leave you guys with something hilarious I saw on Saturday Night Live. We may go like a little minute and a half over, but the
That's
show's
good.
over, but you got to see this. If you haven't seen it, you got
Overtime with Lonzo. Here we go.
Here it
just another great week. They never saw it coming. They had no warning. Then, the day before the Super Bowl, it happened.
Beyonce released a new music video that embraces her black heritage.
Beyonce video is unapologetically black.
Tribute to the Black Lives Matter movement.
Showcase for black
Claims
message.
her blackness like never before.
Honey,
get in here!
Video yet.
What is it? What's wrong?
Black.
Out of nowhere.
I think Beyonce is black.
The day Beyonce turned black.
Guys, I don't understand this new song.
Hot sauce in my bag swag? What does that mean? Maybe the song isn't for us.
But usually everything is!
It was the day that shook the whole white world.
We have to go. We have to leave America. Beyonce is black.
Amy, I'm black.
What? No, you're not. You're like my girl.
Yeah, but I can still be black. There's black people all over the world. That guy's black.
Well, I know he's black. Beyonce is black. What about Single Ladies?
She was black in that.
What about Jumpin' Jumpin'?
She was black in that too.
What about the Pink Panther movie?
Okay, yeah, she was white in that.
It was the day white people lost their Beyonce.
Getting word now that Beyonce isn't the only black celebrity. Some are saying Kerry Washington may also be black.
No, it can't be. She's on ABC.
I don't understand. How can they be black? They're women.
I think they might be both.
So what's going on out there? New Beyonce video. Oh, man.
It was the day they lost their damn white minds.
Ashley? Honey? What are you listening to?
The new Beyonce song. I really like it.
Oh, God. You're black, too.
Karen, that is my daughter. Your daughter's over in the bed. Remember, you invited us for a play date?
Oh, that's right. Thank God.
Thank God.
The day Beyonce turned black. Rated NC-17 for white people and G for black people.
Mommy, is Taylor Swift still white?
I don't know, sweetheart. Just close your eyes and it'll be over in the morning.